right, happy Monday. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing? I'm gonna see if I can tag a couple people. Let's see. I hope everyone's week is off to a great start and that it hasn't been too Monday-ish. I just made that word up. Seemed like a good word for Monday, Monday-ish. What do you think? Let's see. All right. So for today's Monday motivation, healing journey reflections, I want to talk about the word appreciate. So what comes to mind when you hear the word appreciate? What do you think of when someone here says the words to you, I appreciate you? What comes to mind? And also, do you ever tell yourself that you appreciate yourself? So, this is not something that I did for a long time. I never thought to appreciate myself. But let's talk about what the word appreciate means. So, I went to the dictionary. Appreciate is a verb. That means it's an action. So, the first thing we want to think about and that I have come to realize about it is that if we appreciate someone or we appreciate ourselves, giving ourselves self-love, it's an action. So what would this action look like? Let's look at the definition, right? So the first most common definition is, according to Webster, to recognize the full worth of something. And then it gave synonyms: value, respect, prize, cherish, treasure, and admire. So when someone says they appreciate you, are they just words they're saying, or are there actions? Are there verbs? Are there things that these people are doing? Or when you say that you appreciate yourself and that you have self-love for yourself, are these actions that you are doing for yourself, right? Are you treasuring yourself? How do you show that you are treasured? How does the person who tells you that they appreciate you show that they treasure you? Now, these don't have to be big, great, big, gestures. Hello. They do not need to be anything fancy or complicated, but there should be some sort of action that goes with what you're telling yourself about yourself. I appreciate me. Or the person who you are involved with. Now, this could be whether it would look different. It could be a family member, of course. It could be a partner. It could be just a friend. It could be even a business associate or a coworker. But how are they treating you, and how are you treating yourself? What actions are you doing that show you are a prize? What actions are following that? And if there's no actions, what does that really mean? So knowing that appreciate is a verb, and that means that it's an action. If there's no actions, what does that mean? Maybe it means that the person doesn't know how to show appreciation. Maybe it means that they don't know how to take actions. And in that case, maybe, giving your own actions or using your own words to express how you're feeling. Well, you always say you appreciate me, but I never see that you value me. I don't see any actions showing that I'm a prize. I don't see any actions showing me that you treasure me. Or even asking yourself, reflecting on yourself, like, when was the last time that you did something for yourself that showed you that you're the prize? All right. So now let's talk about the second part of the definition for appreciate, which is understand a situation fully and recognize the full implications of it. So some synonyms are acknowledge, recognize, realize, and know. So when I think of know, I think of knowledge. So when we say we appreciate ourselves and we have self-love for ourselves, or when someone is saying that they appreciate us, right? There should be some knowledge that they have of us. And as time goes on, say you are in a business relationship, right? And you've had this business partner for 5 years, right? As you have worked together for 5 years, there's more knowledge that that person has grown to have of you, right? So with that knowledge, are they showing in their appreciation, in their gestures, that they have that knowledge of who you are and how you like to be appreciated? And again, it could be, if they're not, that they don't know how, because maybe you have not communicated to the other person how you like to be appreciated, right? And we all have different types of ways that we do like to be appreciated, right? There's something called the 5 love languages. You guys may be familiar with it, right? So there's things like quality time, right? So sometimes that's how we know or feel appreciated by someone. That's how we want to be shown that we're appreciated. But maybe this person, whether it be a life partner, even if it's a parent or a business partner, maybe they don't understand that quality time and going out for a cup of coffee or something, you know, after work is something that shows you or speaks to you about the appreciation. And maybe they just like get you gifts, right? Because that's how they show their appreciation. So, you know, the communications, the signals are getting lost and crossed. And so, you know, this other person might actually be trying to show you that you are appreciated, that you are valued, that you are prized by them. But if you haven't communicated with them what it is that really makes you feel valued, what it takes for you to really feel respected, well, you know, this other person's not a mind reader. And then, you know, if our signals are crossed, that's when the relationship can kind of end up sometimes heading south. So, you know, you might start feeling some sort of way, but they don't know why you're feeling some sort of way. And so definitely, you know, the first thing, if you're not feeling appreciated properly by someone, if you feel like they don't realize, you know, or they don't have knowledge really of your needs for appreciation, talk to them, you know, explain to them that you like quality time, or you like gifts, or you like acts of service, or you like physical touch, right? I'm forgetting one of the love languages. Acts of service, quality time, physical touch, words of encouragement or affirmation. And there's one more. I always forget what the 5th one is. I'm going to put it in the comments below. But, right, so you want to express it. Now, if you've expressed it to someone and you've had like a conversation a couple times, you know, and the person's still not getting it, then you can draw your own conclusions. What does that maybe mean? This person knows that acts of service, you know, it's important to you, but they never do that. They just, you know, say a kind word to you, you know, and they actually do have knowledge. Well, once that person does have knowledge of what you need to be appreciated, then that might tell you something not so good, that maybe this person really doesn't appreciate you like you had hoped or you thought. And then even think about for yourself too, right? If you don't know yourself and you haven't really sat down and started to think about what it is that you really like to receive, how do you even know what to give yourself? So a lot of times we're just so busy and we're just so into running around and doing the day-to-day things that we don't really actually take time to think about, like, what is it that we really like? And if we really sit down and think about it, we might realize that all these years we've thought we like hearing words of affirmation, but really, what we do like is, a gift or whatever it happens to be. So getting to actually know yourself. Now, the third point that I wanted to talk about really quickly this evening about appreciate is a form of the word appreciate, which is appreciation. Now, there's two different ways of looking at it. Now, you show someone appreciation, but when you're talking about a lot of times when it comes to like something like real estate or money, appreciation actually is an increase in value. So if you bought a piece of land, for example, in 1960, then now in 2021, that piece of land most likely has grown in appreciation. That now has more value. So as we, as people, grow over time, our value should be appreciating. And actually, as we're maturing and getting to have better understandings of ourselves, better knowledge of who we are as women and men, recognizing ourselves, and of course others, we don't want to just like make this all about ourselves, as we expect others to get to know us and appreciate us. We also want to make sure that we're giving back to other people, right? It should be a two-way street. But as we're getting to know ourselves more, or as other people are getting to know us more, or as we're getting to know someone else more, the actual value of that relationship should increase in value. Now, obviously, it doesn't always. Sometimes people have different purposes in life, right? But then there are these things. Think about like a friend that maybe you've had from high school and maybe you haven't seen them in 20 years or 30 years, right? And then all of a sudden you like reconnect with them somehow, either like at a reunion or in some other way, and that friendship is still there, that bond is still there, right? So sometimes people go their separate ways, but that value is still there, and that friendship actually is more meaningful to you after years, even though you haven't always had like a really close relationship. But in general, we should be having ourselves, we should be valuing ourselves more as we get to know each other more every day. And we should also be, if someone is in particular very close to us, that value should be increasing. Now, again, it doesn't have to be fancy, right? But whatever it happens to be that you need for appreciation, it should not be decreasing, right? So it shouldn't be like year one of the relationship or knowing this person, whatever type of relationship it is, like I said, whether it's personal or professional, year one, it shouldn't be like all this appreciation, right? And then year two, a little less, and you're spending less time getting to know a person or less time communicating or even getting to know yourself. And then by year three, it's kind of like almost going through the motions. There's still that relationship, but the effort is not being put in to show that value, to show that person that they're the prize, or for that person to show you that you're the prize, that you're respected. So whatever it is, as time goes on, if this is a particularly close relationship, especially if it's a life partner, that you're doing life with, and life can get really crazy, right? But we do need each other as people. And it's so important that the relationships that we have, right, that are foundational to us, that they actually deepen, and that we don't let the busyness of life or whatever like pull us or away from spending that time to get to know ourselves and to get to know sorry, I keep swiping up because I'm getting text messages about something. Getting to know the other person, or for that other person to get to know us. And that's how, sometimes we can end up ultimately having a heartbreak, and having a trauma of having a broken heart where a relationship fell apart. And it's not even because the relationship was meant to fall apart. It may not even have been a bad relationship. It could have been actually a very good, healthy relationship. It's just that over time, the level of appreciation that was shown and the effort that was spent in showing that appreciation to the other person as well as to ourselves, because we always have to show ourselves love first. We can't give from an empty cup, right? Empty cups don't pour. Hey, Anna Marimba. So we can't pour from an empty cup. So if we're pouring from an empty cup, we're going to be giving the other person, nothingness, right? So we always have to appreciate ourselves as well as the other person, and encourage that other person in our relationship to even take time to appreciate themselves, right? So it all can work together. But like I'm saying, when we don't make that time and it does take time, and it's not easy, and it is a sacrifice, right? Something has to give in life, and our relationships, especially the important ones, are not the ones that we necessarily want to give, because we don't want that unnecessary heartbreak. So like I said, keeping in mind that as we spend time with each other and get to know people, the level of appreciation should go up, recognizing that full worth or value, that knowledge of what that person is, who they are, as well as ourselves, right? And then our values increasing. And it does help make our relationships, healthier and more fulfilling for ourselves and the other person. So these are my thoughts this evening on appreciation and the word appreciate. It is something, like I said, I personally at one point in my life thought that, it was important to show appreciation for other people. I didn't realize how much it was also important for me to appreciate me. So that self-love part and that pouring from an empty cup can get us really nowhere. So this is what I wanted to talk and share for this evening. I wanted to be short and sweet as always. And if anyone has any questions, feel free, reach out. You can send me a DM, make any comments below about your thoughts on what appreciate means, your thoughts on appreciation and the importance of increasing in value over time, right? And also, I'm going to, in the comments below, because I couldn't remember the 5 love languages, I'm going to just drop those in the comments below as well. So have a wonderful evening, and I'll be back on next Monday. Oh, and FYI, on Tuesday, tomorrow, from 7:30 to 8, I am going to be doing a live Zoom for prayer. I've never done this before. This is going to be an experiment. I'm going to try it, see how it goes. I thought it would be good if we got ready, if we prepared for 2022 before 2022 got here, because 2020 and 2021 has been a hot mess, right? So it's, I think, good so that we go into 2022 prepared and built up spiritually. So I do want to encourage and support you all as much as I can. So I'm doing from 7:30 to 8 on Zoom, a live little prayer, quick prayer, where you guys can pop in and we can pray together, and hopefully that will help you out as you do whatever else you are doing to prepare for 2022. And feel free in the comments below as well to share how you're preparing for 2022. I'm going to also share the Zoom link info for tomorrow night's prayer encouragement and preparation. I'll make another post for that as well. All right. So have a wonderful evening, everyone, and peace.